The best person in your company is also the biggest operational risk. Not because they make mistakes, quite the opposite. Because they know the most, they handle the most, and everything rests on them. And if they don't show up tomorrow, they have a problem that no open position have to schedule will fix. In this episode, I will show you why transport and logistics companies struggle to grow out without constantly adding people. We'll go to the 4 different perspectives. Why adding people doesn't solve any problem and it often makes it even worse. Why specific loads your people are carrying every day. How to identify the people they are carrying more than anyone has ever documented. And in the end, I will also tell you honestly when adding a new people is the right decision.
The channel's partner is Go Mobility Tech, a place where we build competitive advantage in the TSL industry. We conduct strategic workshops for transport and logistics companies, combining an understanding of your operations with knowledge of current technological capabilities, including AI. Book a free consultation to see if we can help your company. Click the link in the description.
My name is Wiktor Sobczyk, and for more than a decade, I have been designing this digital transformation for the TSL companies together with the Go Mobility Tech. I will show you how to grow without adding people every time you grow your business, and when hiring new people genuinely makes sense, because sometimes it has. Back to the topic. Anyone who is running a growing TSL company knows this story. Volume goes up and revenue goes up. Everything is busy from the morning to the late night. On the paper, everything looks perfect, but inside the constantly firefighting, emails after the night, and you will feeling that the more orders you have, the less control you actually have. And then someone says, we need more people. So you are hiring someone and things feel better for the moment. Then the same problems return. It looks like a people problem, but it isn't. Your people stop being employees. They are infrastructure. And you don't scale infrastructure by adding a new infrastructure. You build infrastructure one that will carry more load without breaking. Imagine the renovation of your apartment. You want a bigger living room, so you are knocking down the wall. And suddenly the ceiling starting to cracking. Only then you will discover it was a load-bearing wall. Companies work exactly the same way. On the paper, someone is the forwarder, someone is holding the dead building, someone is the shift manager, but in the reality, they are the load-bearing walls, and they are holding up the structure that nobody have ever drew. And you only discover it when they take the vacation, when they are sick or they are leaving for the competitor. That's when the ceilings start to crack. So where these load-bearing walls come from? From the third kinds of work that quietly land on that people. Every company has something like a operational manual. The problem is that the most TSL company, nobody ever wrote it. Ask, for example, a new forwarder why customer from Hamburg always get a 5% discount. And the answer will be probably because the mark has decided so. But the problem is the mark is actually on the vacation and nobody knows whatever the discount comes from. Because of the volume, because of the history, because of the simple habit. No one knows. One person can still hold that information, but it is stopped working at scale when during the turnover, when every time a new person joins, because onboarding will take a month. A new employee has also to learn something that nobody ever documented. And here is the key point. When the new people leave, you don't lose one employee. You are losing the operational capacity for 3 or 6 months. Let's check the second perspective. The second load is the informational flow. Here is the human who becomes the interface that nobody ever built. A living connection between multiple systems. For example, the order arrives by the email and someone have to retype it into the TMS, then moves the data to the spreadsheet and into the accounting. Every handoff means the human and the keyboard. And sometimes it is okay at low volume or when it is much cheaper to do it manually rather than in the integration. But When growing start and you are doubling the volume, you'll double the retyping and double the opportunities to mistake, to the typos, to the incorrect rates, to the wrong dates, for example. And then comes the familiar reaction. We need more people. Probably not. You need fewer people doing work that should be never required people in the first place. Calculate it yourself. How many minutes that it takes to process one order from the email to the invoice? Multiply that by the volume. And that cost grow perfectly alongside the revenue, meaning the company grow, but the margin doesn't. And here there is a biggest misunderstanding. Sometimes people says that people are too slow, people aren't efficient enough, they need better employees. I will tell you the opposite. In the growing TSL companies, people are almost never the bottleneck. They aren't slow, they are overloaded. Loaded with work that should never have been there. And the better they are, the more work gets dumped on there. One failure point capable to stopping the whole system. That's why adding a new people doesn't solve the problem. A new person can't take over the structure because the structure isn't written down anywhere. So they're either spend 6 months learning from the load-bearing walls or eventually become another load-bearing walls themselves. Either way, the company didn't really grow. Only the number of people everything depends on increased. And here is the simple test. If the only answer to we have more work is to we have to hire someone, then you are growing linearly. Companies with a structure have others leverage. But let's be clear, people are not the problem. Every company grows faster rather than can document itself. It is normal, but eventually that model stops working. Hiring makes sense in the 3 different situations. For example, for a work that is genuinely requires a judgment. For example, negotiation, crisis, strategic clients. The second, when the person is the temporary bridge while you are building the process and you are documenting everything along the way. And third, when you are growing so fast that additional hands are unavoidable. The trap is not the hiring. The trap is making hiring the only answer. Before posting a new job ad, run one test. Take a sheet of paper. Write down the people you thought about while watching this episode. For each person, answer one question. What happens if that person doesn't come to the work for the next 2 weeks? If the answer is we'll manage that, that's the employee. When the answer is we have a serious problem, that's the load-bearing wall. Then ask a second question. How much of that this person knows has been documented anywhere? Because that gap between what people know and what company has written down, here is the ceiling that went into the crack. In the comment, tell me, how many loading bear walls did you find? And which of them surprised you the most? Because one question still remains. If people shouldn't be carrying all of this work, why they are carrying it? The answer is simple that seems. Your people are the glue holding the scattered data together. Knowledge lives in their heads because data lives in the silos. Flow happens through the hands because systems don't communicate. And that's exactly what we will talk about in the next episode. Why fragmented data is the leadership problem. It's not the IT problem. This was Wiktor Sobczyk, Go Mobility Tech. See you in the next episode.